Hey, get that truck off my bridge! Trenton's voice cracked through the morning air. Relax, Mr. Vale, Judith Bramwell said coolly. It's just a delivery for the new community pavilion. HOA business. You'll survive. Trenton stepped forward, boots crunching against the dirt. That bridge isn't public. It's on my property. I built it with my own hands. The heavy truck's tires groaned as they rolled over the wooden planks, each creak sounding like a warning. Judith smirked, arms crossed. Well, maybe you shouldn't have built it where people can see it. Looks like part of the neighborhood to me. Trenton clenched his jaw, but said nothing. He watched as the truck crossed to the other side, dust rising in its wake, leaving faint cracks spidering through the old oak beams beneath. His bridge had held strong through storms, floods, even last winter's freeze, but it wasn't built for cement trucks, and Judith knew it. That night, Trenton sat on his porch, the soft hum of crickets in the background, staring at the bridge under the faint moonlight. His friend and neighbor, Cole, sat across from him, sipping from a can of root beer. Let it go, Trent, Cole said quietly. You can't win against the HOA. They'll twist the rules till you're the bad guy. Trenton shook his head. It's not about rules anymore. It's about respect. She's using my property like it's her driveway. Cole sighed. Judith runs that HOA like a kingdom. People are scared of her. Trenton looked up, eyes dark. Then maybe it's time someone scared her back. The next morning, the damage was worse. 2 more trucks had crossed overnight for another project. The bridge sagged slightly in the middle now, its rails leaning outward like tired shoulders. He spotted new tire marks across the dirt and an HOA notice of community cooperation stapled to his mailbox. Cooperation, he muttered, ripping it down. More like trespassing. By noon, Judith was back. A white SUV pulled up beside the bridge, and she stepped out with a clipboard. Good morning, Mr. Vale, she called cheerfully. Lovely day for construction, don't you think? Trenton walked up, wiping his hands on a rag. You're breaking the law. Judith raised an eyebrow. Big words for a man with a wooden bridge and no permits. He stared her down. You're not authorized to cross this property. I've warned you twice. Oh, please, she scoffed. I've been HOA president for 15 years. You think anyone's going to take your word over mine? Trenton's lips twitched into something that wasn't quite a smile. We'll see. That evening, he went to work. The bridge stretched across a narrow stream that shimmered faintly under the porch light. Trenton measured, sawed, and hammered late into the night, his tools echoing softly against the water. He reinforced the beams with hidden supports and replaced the center planks with removable ones disguised perfectly with fresh stain. He mounted 2 cameras, one near the mailbox, another in the tree line, and installed a small pressure switch that triggered a steel locking gate at the far end. It wasn't dangerous, just clever. A trap of boundaries, not violence. If Judith wanted to cross again, she'd have to face something more powerful than anger, proof. 2 days later, it happened. Trenton was tending his small garden when the familiar rumble returned. The ground trembled. Another cement truck. Judith stood on the road, waving it through like a traffic officer. Come on, hurry up. HOA's on a schedule. Trenton stepped forward. Don't say I didn't warn you. The truck rolled forward, heavy tires thudding against the wood. The moment it reached the center, the bridge groaned and locked. The wheels spun helplessly as the gate dropped on the other side. The driver slammed the brakes. What the? Judith's smile faded as Trenton pulled out his phone, recording. Looks like you're trespassing again, he said evenly. And this time it's all on camera. Judith's voice quivered. You set me up! No, Trenton replied. You set yourself up. I just built the evidence. Within minutes, 2 patrol cars pulled up. Officer Ramirez stepped out, hands on his belt. Morning, folks. Got a report about a blocked vehicle? Trenton handed him the footage silently. Ramirez watched, nodded once, and turned to Judith. Ma'am, this bridge is on Mr. Vale's property. These trucks have no right to be here. You'll need to have them removed immediately. Judith's face flushed. You can't be serious. This is community business. Ramirez held up a hand. Not according to property records, and not according to the video showing you ordering drivers to cross private land. The driver climbed out, shaking his head. Lady, I'm not getting fired for this. You can deal with your HOA drama yourself. Judith stood frozen as the truck backed up slowly, inching away from the bridge. The wood creaked, but held. Trenton didn't move. He just watched quietly until the dust settled and the engines faded down the road. That evening, the neighborhood buzzed with whispers. People had seen the patrol cars, the truck, the confrontation. Some peeked out from their porches as Trenton swept his driveway in calm, steady strokes. Cole walked up, smirking. Heard you caught the Queen of Brook Hollow red-handed. Trenton shrugged. Just wanted her to stop crossing lines that don't belong to her. Cole chuckled. You think she will? Trenton leaned on his broom, eyes fixed on the horizon where Judith's house glowed faintly in the dusk. No, people like her don't stop when they're wrong. They double down. Cole frowned. So what now? Trenton smiled slightly. Now we wait. She's going to try something else, and next time... He tapped the side of his camera. Next time, I'll make sure everyone sees. As the night deepened, Judith's silhouette appeared at her window across the creek, watching him. The bridge shimmered faintly in the moonlight, intact but tense, like the calm before another storm. Trenton turned away, locked his front door, and muttered under his breath, Cross it again, Judith, I dare you! The crickets sang louder. The air felt thick with something unsaid, because deep down, both of them knew this wasn't over. Judith Bramwell had lost her first battle, but she wasn't the type to retreat quietly. And the next time she came for him, she wouldn't just bring trucks. She'd bring lawyers. But what she did next wouldn't just test Trenton's patience, it would test everything he believed about justice. Quick question for you. If someone kept crossing your boundaries, would you set a trap or walk away? You'll regret this, Mr. Vale. Judith's voice echoed from across the bridge like a warning shot. Her hands trembled as she pointed at him from her driveway, but Trenton just stood there, calm as stone. Maybe, he said evenly, but at least I'll regret something I actually did. She huffed, spun around, and marched into her house, slamming the door hard enough to make her wind chime fall. Cole, who had been standing on the porch, muttered, She's not done. You can see it in her walk. Trenton didn't even blink. Let her walk. She's going to hang herself with her own rules. 3 days passed. Trenton thought maybe, just maybe, things had calmed down. The bridge sat quiet. No tire marks, no trucks. Birds perched along its wooden rails again. For the first time in weeks, he could hear the water beneath without the sound of engines drowning it out. Then a thick white envelope arrived in his mailbox, certified, sealed with the HOA logo. He tore it open and read aloud. Notice of safety violation. The structure known as Vale Bridge poses a risk to community transport and will be subject to removal under HOA Ordinance Section 4B. Trenton exhaled slowly. She really did it. Cole, reading over his shoulder, shook his head. She's trying to use her own rule book against you. Then that's the book I'll use to bury her, Trenton said quietly. That evening he went to work again, not with a hammer this time, but with a printer, a camera, and a file folder. Every HOA violation notice, every text, every piece of video evidence, all neatly organized into a binder. He even included property maps showing the bridge sat completely outside the HOA's jurisdiction line. By the time the sun rose, his binder was an iron wall of truth. The HOA meeting was scheduled for Friday evening in the community hall. When Trenton arrived, the place was already buzzing. Homeowners lined the walls, whispering. Judith sat at the front table, pearls shining under the fluorescent light, lips pressed tight like a queen awaiting trial. Howard Briggs, the HOA chairman, cleared his throat. Mr. Vale, you requested to address the board regarding your, bridge. Trenton set the binder on the table with a soft thud. That's right. Since Mrs. Bramwell claims my bridge violates HOA codes, I brought the receipts. He flipped open the first page. Maps, coordinates, city zoning records. This, he said, tapping the page, is county property data. My land starts here. and ends here. The bridge sits entirely on my land. Not 1 inch touches HOA-controlled property. A murmur rippled through the room. Judith shifted in her seat. Trenton turned another page. A printout of HOA bylaws. Section 4B, which you cited, applies to communal structures. But my bridge is private, meaning your authority ends where my mailbox begins. Judith snapped. That's your interpretation. Trenton's eyes met hers. No, it's the law. He pressed play on his phone, projecting video of Judith ordering the cement trucks across his bridge. Her voice echoed through the speakers. The HOA has authority here. Just drive. Every head turned. The room fell silent. Trenton looked at the board calmly. Now, I'm not here for revenge. I just want this to stop. The harassment, the lies, the abuse of power. I built that bridge for peace, not to be bullied for it. Howard rubbed his temples. Mrs. Bramwell, is this true? Judith sputtered. That video is out of context. He tricked me. Howard sighed heavily. Enough. I think we've heard enough context for one night. He looked at Trenton. Mr. Vale, on behalf of the board, I apologize. The HOA has overstepped. The citation will be rescinded. A soft wave of applause rolled through the hall, hesitant but genuine. Judith stood abruptly, her chair scraping the floor. You're making a mistake. This man is manipulating all of you. Howard's tone hardened. Sit down, Judith. But she didn't. Her hands shook with rage. I run this community. You all forget who keeps this place in order. Trenton spoke softly. No, Judith, you forgot what community means. The words hit her harder than any trap could. For the first time, she had no comeback. That night, the meeting ended, but the damage to Judith's reputation didn't. Word spread fast, faster than gossip ever had before. By the next morning, her control was gone. The HOA voted to suspend her indefinitely pending investigation. For the first time in years, neighbors felt free to speak. One by one, they came to Trenton's driveway, not to gossip, but to thank him. You stood up to her for all of us, one man said. Trenton smiled faintly. I didn't do it for everyone. I did it because no one should feel powerless where they live. A week later, he found himself back on that same porch, sipping coffee, staring at his bridge. It looked peaceful again, the way it was meant to. The water flowed gently beneath it, sunlight glinting off the ripples. Cole walked up holding a newspaper. You see this? He asked, tapping the headline. Local HOA president removed after overstepping homeowner rights. Trenton chuckled softly. Guess she didn't see that one coming either. Cole grinned. You think she'll apologize? Trenton took a sip. People like her don't apologize. But that's okay. She doesn't need to. I already forgave her. Cole blinked. Forgave her? Trenton nodded. Yeah, because forgiveness isn't for her. It's for me. I'm done being angry. I got my peace back. And that's the one thing she could never take. Later that evening, as the sky turned amber, Trenton walked down to the bridge one last time. He ran his fingers along the smooth wood, still sturdy despite everything. He smiled, not out of triumph, but relief. For once, there was no shouting, no engines, no HOA memos in his mailbox. Just quiet. He looked out across the water and whispered, Boundaries aren't about fences or bridges. They're about self-respect. You teach people how to treat you, by what you allow. A week later, a letter arrived. No stamp, no logo. Just handwriting, it read, Mr. Vale, I've stepped down from the HOA board. I was wrong to treat you the way I did. Thank you for reminding me what respect really looks like. Judith. Trenton folded the letter carefully and tucked it inside his binder. Then he set it on the shelf, his quiet trophy. Outside, the sound of the creek carried through the air like forgiveness. Sometimes, justice isn't about revenge. It's about restoring peace and proving that calm. Truth and patience can be louder than anger, because people who cross your boundaries will keep doing it until you build one they can't walk over. One made of integrity. Life lesson: don't let anyone trample your peace. When people cross your boundaries, don't fight with noise. Stand your ground with proof, patience, and self-respect. So, what do you think? Was Trenton right to set his trap? Or should he have handled it differently? Comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that prove calm doesn't mean weak, it means wise.